friends, it is Mary from Mom Behind the Computer. Today I'm coming at you with another kitchen chat, and I'm trying a different angle. I'm not sure I love it, but I have a new long arm tripod that I wanted to try. So I actually got it so that when I'm in the hospital, since no one can come see me, I can hopefully attach this to my hospital table and do video chats where people can see the baby without me needing to hold up camera and all of that. We'll see if it works. I don't know, but I wanted to try it out. It seems to be working pretty well once it gets stable. I had one before and I ended up thankfully being able to give it to my church for them to do live chats, not live chats, live streams of the church service. The Sunday before we started self-quarantining, they needed to do live services every week. So I'm going to gift that to them. I think that's an important resource to have at the church right now. And so I got a new one. My hairs are a little crazy. I actually French braided my hair today. I decided to try it to see if I could possibly do it. I know it makes you look a little younger and stuff, but I was trying to think of a way that I could do my hair when I go to the hospital to have the baby, because my hair is naturally curly and I love it, but when you're kind of like laying around and stuff, it can get really fuzzy. I also love to like hot roll it, which would be really pretty in pictures, but again, any humidity that hits it or my sweat or anything just causes it to kink up, which is what it is. So I'm thinking maybe the braids might be it, just for low maintenance. For myself. Usually today's the first day I have these in, after I showered this morning and did my hair, and this is the first day. They look pretty good. I might give them a day or two and see if they make it. Curly hair doesn't have to be washed every single day. It's better actually if it doesn't get washed every single day. So I don't know, but I was so happy. I guess all that practice on little girl worked, because normally I am not very good at styling my own hair, and braiding my own hair other than just the bottom would never have worked, but it's kind of actually a little fringy braid up there. So exciting. So we'll see how that goes over the next couple of days. Tonight I'm actually making dinner, which I have been making dinner, but I haven't been making dinner on these videos. I've been having a really hard time figuring out what to feed us. We have food, we have plenty of food, but I'm also trying to make that food last, so that in the 2 weeks while hubby's on paternity leave, hopefully it's very easy for him to make dinners and things and lunches and all the foods for us. And I'm hoping that we won't need to make too many trips to the store. Obviously it's April of 2020 right now. We are trying not to go to the store any more than normal. Actually tonight, we're going to do a pickup order at a Walmart, which I was trying to avoid, but I think we're just running through some things that I hadn't expected us to run through as quickly. So rather than stress about it too much, I placed a way out order and we'll see what I end up with. I don't know. Anyways, so one, I'm trying to make the food last. So I'm trying to save a lot of the easier foods for that. Also, when I'm pregnant, I think I've mentioned this before, I'm really weird about what I eat. So certain things that I would normally eat, I don't when I'm pregnant. It's just me. It's not anything that anyone else should do. It's just me. So I am also, there's also a lot of things that we have that normally I would eat that I'm trying to kind of hold off on. I'm holding back on eating those and even serving those right now. I served them in the beginning of my pregnancy, but given kind of this, where the social situation is right now, and the fact that I'm expecting to deliver very soon, I figure why not just wait. I can enjoy those foods with the family once I've delivered. So that's kind of where we're at. I've been having trouble figuring out what to eat, even though we have food, even though we're good to go. So tonight I've decided upon, which I'm excited about, Pigeon Forge creamy vegetable soup. We love going to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area We love their soup down there. And we haven't had it in a very long time, especially since hubby developed a soy allergy, because soy is just in almost every processed food. So we haven't been to a lot of those restaurants that have that as like their little appetizer thing. So I found a version online. I'm going to try. We're going to see if it's any good. That makes me feel good that we're getting in some veggies. I'm going to include whole veggies in it. Some of them do more like of a pureed type veggie thing. Some of them had actual veggies in it in the recipes I saw. I don't remember honestly what ones we've ate down there. I think we've ate them all. It seems like all of the dinner shows have that as like a appetizer, which we love, so that's good. But I'm gonna put some whole veggies in it. I have a bag of mixed veggies, and that's gonna make me feel better about us getting some nutrition up in here. Then I'm gonna also make some Cheddar Bay Biscuits, which are not nutritional at all. I made them way back. I remember them turning out well, but I haven't made them even recently enough to remember what it's like. Found a recipe for those. Going to try those tonight. So excited about all that. I also made a chocolate eclair cake, and my mom made these all the time, and I loved them. And now my grandma makes them sometimes for my husband. I've made them before, but what's super exciting about this one is I made the chocolate frosting for this. It was so amazing. I'll link the recipe below. I think it was from Southern Charm or something like that, because again, a lot of the canned frostings have soy in them, and also I didn't have any, but I saw in the pantry yesterday that we had graham crackers, and they were soy free from Trader Joe's, and they are not set to expire for like 2 more weeks, so I don't know when I bought them, but I clearly never used them. I found one thing of pudding. I had one thing of whipped topping that I had hubby buy when all of this started, and so I had everything I needed except for the chocolate frosting, which I made, and it was so good. And it was super easy, so I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to canned frosting again, because it was so easy and so good. And I actually have some left over in the fridge, just because I didn't have 2 pudding boxes to do the big cake. I just did a small one, but let me grab it and I'll show you. So normally we do a container about twice this size, because you used 2, but I only had 1 thing of pudding. Can you see it? It's not super pretty. It's layered with graham crackers. The next layer is pudding, milk, and whipped topping. And then the top layer is chocolate frosting. And I am so excited to have this tonight. I'm not sure if it's going to be ready tonight. Normally you set it overnight because like the pudding makes the crackers easier to makes them soft. So it makes them easier to eat. And I'm not sure if we're going to do that, but honestly, we're gonna break into this tonight. I tell you what, we're gonna have half of it tonight. We'll have half of it tomorrow when it should be tasting whatever. Mama is very pregnant, and Mama has been loving sweets, and nobody in the family has been complaining that we've had dessert almost every night. So we're gonna have dessert. And so I'm very excited about this. This will be a fun treat. And I'm very excited that the frosting turned out so well. So good. So, I did not fully think of this angle. It'll be okay for me when I'm working here, but you're gonna just see my back when I'm cooking. So we'll see how far I get in this chat before I need to say I'll see you guys later. I think I need to start on the biscuits first, because the oven needs to preheat, and the soup just doesn't seem like it's gonna take long to make. We'll see. I'm not very good. Like, I'm not a natural cook in the kitchen, so we're gonna see how it goes. I found, get this off of here, clean out the oven. Do you all store your things in the oven? Just seems like the best place for pans and things like that until you need to cook. And it's kind of hard to store them otherwise, but I don't have a big enough cabinet to store them anywhere else right now. So this is where they're stored. So I'm going to preheat the oven to 400 400 degrees. Okay. I think my parchment paper Okay, so my parchment paper, if you didn't know this, parchment paper has limits, apparently. I did not know this until I accidentally, one time, got out some parchment paper, used it, and it plumb near caught on fire, I think. Unfortunately, I think it did. It did not catch on fire, fortunately, but it was very, very brown when it came out. And so I looked at the box because I was like, that's weird. And it does have limits. So I assume they all have different ones. These are just like the Kroger pop-up ones. But these have to cook at 400. 420 is good to go. So yay, I can use parchment paper and I don't have to grease anything, and I don't have to like scrape it off the pan later, which is good for a novice cook. So we need flour, cheddar cheese, and let me tell you something about cheddar cheese. Yes, I know it lasts for a very long time, and normally it would not be a big deal, but I did go ahead and try when I did a grocery run. I don't know how long ago. I don't know what day it is half the time. I did a grocery run a while back, and I got extra cheese to get us through several weeks. I thought not nearly as much as I'd hoped I would, because we've been using extra cheese because we've been making pizzas and things like that, which we normally just don't make a lot of at home. We'll buy like frozen pizzas, but to be fair, like it's super hard to find a soy-free frozen pizza. You can find them at Kroger, but it's pretty easy to make them, especially if you have a bread maker. Jamaril Stewart has a bread dough recipe, or not a bread dough, a pizza dough recipe. Super easy to throw it in the bread maker, have it ready. So we've been having that like once a week. So we've been going through cheese even more, but we did try freezing it because I wanted to know how it would do, and it does wonderfully. So that's been a big surprise to me. And actually, this is something that probably when all of this is, when we're back to regular shopping trips, I will probably keep enough in the freezer to get me through like 3 months. Maybe even start buying it at Costco, as long as I continue to cook at home so much, which I kind of have to cook at home to a certain degree because of the soy thing, which has been a blessing because that's the only reason I even know how to cook right now. But I've gone for a lot of convenience foods and things like that. I'm hoping once our life normalizes with a new baby, and once life in general normalizes with all of this COVID-19 and Corona stuff, which I have no idea when or how that's going to look, that I will continue to cook more, because especially baking and things like that. I've been really enjoying that. And hopefully by then I'll be maybe even fixing a little bit of healthier foods. I can't say that I've been doing that overly too much. I've been really going for the comfort foods, which I'm not complaining about. So sometimes you just have to do that. And I think with a new baby coming, being homebound, all this stuff, I think this is the time to not really worry about that. So I'm gonna go with that. Let me get back to collecting my ingredients. Baking powder, salt, and how appropriate, salt shaker from Gatlinburg. Garlic powder. Okay, we also need milk, butter, egg, and melted butter. I'm not gonna get those out right now because things are kind of crazy up in my little workstation right now. Let me put this pan over here. Get a spoon. We're gonna combine flour, cheese, baking powder, salt, garlic powder. One thing that has been tricky for me. Let me grab this. And I imagine someone who cooks more than me does this better. I have like 3 sets of measuring spoons, right? And I find that to be good. I could honestly probably use a little bit more. I try to reuse them, but you know, after you've put like a spoon in garlic powder, you're not gonna put it in baking powder. Not that you, well, I guess in this ingredient I am. So do you just pour it in? Like, is that what people do? I don't know. Usually what I try to do is I try to get like whatever's gonna be the easiest to kind of pour out. I try to just pour it in there and then scoop the other. So like, for example, this recipe calls for 2 cups of all-purpose flour. That ain't gonna pour easy at all. Oh goodness, I hope that's 2 cups. I think it is. I shouldn't talk while I'm doing these things. So that's not gonna pour easy at all. So I'm going to scoop that out and get it all floury. Because I don't want to do like 7 things of dishes. And then it calls for a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I can pour cheddar cheese. Also, cheddar cheese doesn't have to be as exact as flour, in my opinion, for the most part. It's a little more cheesy or a little less cheesy, who cares? In fact, I have so little left, I think I'm just gonna pour it on in, make it a little more cheesy. Is that how most people do it? I don't know. Like, I feel like I use so many measuring spoons and measuring cups right now, and I have no idea if I'm doing it the proper way. I took home ec. I took home ec in middle school. I even took home ec in high school, which you didn't have to do. Because, well, that's a long story. Hold on. Okay, so I was always interested in home economics, even though I wasn't good at it. I'm still not great at it. It's not a natural thing. But I was always interested in it. But I wasn't going to take that as an elective because why would I do that, I guess. There were other things that I wanted to do. And back when I was in elementary school and back when I was in middle school, I truly, truly thought I wanted to be a journalist. I loved to read. I loved to write. When I was in like an advanced program when I was in elementary school. Primarily, I don't think I was overly intelligent, but I cared, and not all the kids care at that age. So I cared. So I was in an advanced program. I did my work, I did extra work, all of that. And not that it really gets extra far, but it got me on extra field trips, which was a win. I always loved going on the extra field trips. And actually, it's so funny. I don't know why it worked out that way. I met kids then, and we weren't like overly friends. We would hang out during the field trips, but like, you know, you're in elementary school, like you're not gonna connect with people, you know what I'm saying? It's just not something that you're probably going to get to know them if you're only seeing them like, I think we did field trips maybe once a quarter. I don't know, I could be completely wrong about that. My memory could be completely wrong because I was in elementary school, but it's not like you saw people all the time, right? So I would see people, we might hang out for a field trip. The kids on the bus that would go with me, I kind of knew a little bit more, but not enough that like we would like spend any time together any other time. But funny enough, I got into middle school when all the elementary schools got combined. No, some of them in middle school. And then in middle school, they kind of combined into 2 classes, 2 schools. And then in high school, those 2 schools combined into one big high school. That's how it was around here. And funny enough, those people that I was in the advanced program with, not from my school, I only had like one other, and he wasn't even in it the whole time. He was a fine friend, but those people that I barely knew back then, but I kind of knew, they ended up just, we didn't connect because we knew each other from the advanced program. We connected in our own life, but they ended up being just some of my best friends that I'm still friends with today. So it's so funny. I mean, I have some other best friends that I met along the way, but like, I just think it's so funny that that's kind of how it worked out, you know, like we have memories of each other as small children, even though, you know, and then we reconnected, that sort of thing. That's funny. That's a total ramble story. Let me get out the wet ingredients, and then I'll finish my reason I was in home ec so much story. Okay. One thing about this particular version of this recipe is it doesn't say that the butter should be melted or softened. I'm going to assume it should be based on the other ingredients. So I'm going to melt it in the microwave and we'll see how it goes. Okay, well that's going really quick. A couple more seconds of the story. So anyways, as a small child, as a young child in elementary school, I was in the advanced program. The advanced program got to do career shadowing, which was one of the best things we could have ever done. I know not every elementary school kid would go with it, but it really was awesome for me. I job shadowed a journalist. Some people did veterinarian, some people did other things. I did a journalist, and I was just amazed. I loved it, and I was like, this is great. And mind you, this was before the internet was a big thing. So I understand now why it may not have been a great thing, but back then nobody knew that the internet was going to destroy journalism as a whole. So I was like, this is great. This is awesome. I love this. And I can meet new people because I was very shy. It would give me a reason to meet new people. It would give me a reason to write. I could write on the side. I could experience new things. There were a dozen reasons I thought this was like the perfect job for me, right? Thought that this was just going to be the best job. Anyone who asked me what I was going to do when I was going to grow up, I was going to be a journalist. Loved it. Focused everything, because I love to read, I love to write. Focused everything on, you know, journalism and going that route. I hope my milk didn't curdle. Not sure if the butter was too hot and maybe the milk curdled. It said to mix it together. Oh well, I guess we'll see. That stinks. Might just be chunks of butter in there. I don't know. Okay, well, we'll see how these things turn out. Doesn't smell bad, but I don't know if curdled milk smells bad, so okay. All right, let's see what happens. It might be butter. It might not be butter. I can't tell. Guess we'll see. So, thought I wanted to be a journalist. Everything moved towards, let's be a journalist. So I got into high school. I went into journalism class. Got that behind me. Went into our newspaper because that was the type of journalism I wanted to do. Yearbook might have been fine, but it was rather cliquey in our school. I don't know how I found that out, but I guess when I just saw the people who were in it. Not that they weren't probably lovely people on their own, because they were, but one of my best friends was on yearbook and all of that, but I was clearly not going to fit in there. And newspaper was what I wanted to work in. I mean, who works in yearbook later? No, you can work in magazine and stuff like that, and that's awesome too. So on and so forth. And all of that, I'm not criticizing anyone, and I'm sure it's not like that everywhere. So do not take this as a criticism. But I wanted to do newspaper, right? Had dreams, I had ambitions. So I went on into the newspaper. This is my sophomore year. And turns out it was clicky too. And I just did not at all enjoy the people in it. Which is funny because my hubby is actually, he was in it as well. He was in that class with his then girlfriend. He actually stayed in that class. He was in it for the rest of his high school career. He clearly enjoyed it and had an okay time. It fit his I do what I darn well please personality type thing that he had going on in high school. We were not friends in high school. I'm sure at some point he may want to share that story with all of you wonderful people, but it's a long story. So, anywho, it was just awful, and I wouldn't say I got like bullied in there, but I wasn't welcomed, and I had a really bad, I don't know the best way to say it. Like, I didn't have a terribly bad experience, but I didn't have a good experience. I felt miserable. I felt like these are not people I want to be around. This is, and actually, so anyways, and I actually found out that at least in high school, doing interviews and things like that was not fun. I don't like teenagers. I didn't like teenagers when I was a teenager. I don't like teenagers as a group now. I like them as individuals, not as a group. I did not like them when I was a teenager. They're just not fun people to be around. So I did not like doing interviews. I didn't love the teacher personally because I wasn't one of her favorites or anything like that. It just turned out to be a terrible, terrible fit for me. And I talked to some of the other people in there, some of the other girls that were having a hard time. They ended up staying in it and being okay because they were popular. But I decided I was going to try to transfer out. And the only classes that were open were home ec, which was fine by me. I think I took sewing one semester, I took home ec one semester, I took childcare one semester, which actually are probably the classes that most prepared me for where I'm at in life right now as a stay-at-home, work-at-home mom. So kudos to that school system, accidentally getting me in there. But yeah, so I ended up switching out of that. Thankfully, actually, I did do some journalism. No, I did not. I took a journalism class in college, and it was fine. I mean, I can do journalism, it's fine. But I did not major in it or anything, thankfully. I did do advertising, which didn't help me in anything, but it was fine too. I really enjoyed it. Oh, the girl's coming up, so she's probably going to interrupt me. Anyways, that's why I was in home ec. So you'd think I'd be better at all of this because I've been trained for at least a year and a half in all of these sort of things. And I did learn things along the way, but I did not, I was not a pro by any means to all of that. So I almost have these biscuits shaped. I'm making biscuits, babe. I almost have these biscuits all shaped out, and gotta get the soup going. Gotta keep this little girl from getting all up in the middle of it. And normally she helps me cook, but just recently I've started just doing it as
you got some on your
I know,
tablet.
I know. But the past few things I've been doing that are new, I've been trying to just take care of because it's hard to know. It's hard to teach someone kitchen skills when you're doing something new, or something that you haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for joining me in another kitchen chat. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more kitchen chats, please be sure to hit subscribe. I'll have more sometime in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day. Can you tell them bye-bye?